Hello and welcome to Project 5P. Today I'm going to show you how to make the very simple but very effective, very long lasting, very inexpensive fire starter that I demonstrated in another video. I'll put the card up here somewhere so you can watch that video to see exactly how efficient and how long lasting it is. But very, very simple. All right, you only need a few things. Number one, Vaseline. Number two, toilet paper roll. Number three, cotton balls. And an optional fourth item is scratch paper, and I'll show you how and where that fits in just a minute. All right, let's get at it. So if you would, please like, subscribe, share. I like to take recommendations from viewers on what videos I make. So if you're a subscriber, that's the kind of videos I like to make. So it would be benefit both of us if you could like, share, subscribe, all that fun stuff. All right, so here we go. All we're gonna do is coat these cotton balls in Vaseline. Now the way I was taught to do it was just to rub them in the Vaseline, put them into the toilet paper roll. What I found, what I like to do personally is I tear them apart slightly because I get more surface area instead of the Vaseline just being on the outside of a cotton ball like this. It's all over the entire cotton ball. So I usually shred them first. Sometimes I'll do one at a time. Sometimes I'll do them all first. Either way, doesn't really matter. I'll shred them all right here for you first, and I usually use about 10 to 12 cotton balls per toilet paper roll. You can also use paper towel rolls or anything like that. Obviously a paper towel roll is larger, you'll need more cotton balls, but it will also last longer too as far as its actual burn rate. So I take all these and I spread them out. You can do this with like rubber or latex or plastic gloves if you want, food serving gloves, even something like that if you don't want to get the Vaseline all over your hands. But I just keep a towel nearby just to wipe my hands off. But this is such a quick process that I typically don't do one at a time. We usually do dozens at a time. So we store this stuff up, store the toilet paper rolls until we have a bunch, and then we'll just sit down and, we don't watch much TV, but we might put a show on or something and just sit and have some family time and just make some fire starters, literally dozens at a time. So when you're doing that, the Vaseline isn't so much of a big deal because you're just doing so many so fast, and you can just wipe it off at the end. But once you have all this, what I usually do is I just take a big old glop of Vaseline, petroleum jelly, and I just coat it, turn it, tear this apart, make sure you get all the surface area as much as you can. The petroleum jelly is what is going to burn. That helps the burn rate and the burn length. So you want to get as much on there as possible. I'll show you right now as an example of when it becomes too much. But once you have that and all the surface areas, you can keep tearing this open as much as you want. See, I missed some spots in there. And get as much of that on there as you can or as you want. And then once I do that, it's obviously sticking together. So I just kind of form it. Doesn't have to be beautiful. It's not going to be beautiful. I just kind of form it into this shape here. See, I'm getting cotton on my hands, so that means there's dry spots, because if it's able to stick and tear like that, then it's not coated. So I'll add a little bit more, and then once that's done, I usually put 2 fingers in here so that I'm not grabbing this toilet paper roll with greasy hands. I put 2 fingers in there and hold it like that, and then this just slides inside. I made this one pretty thick, so it's a little harder to slide inside, but it'll go in there. It'll compress, push it all the way in, just like that. So on both sides, it's all the way in there. And then what tends to happen, see, I'm gonna dry off my hands now. What tends to happen, depending on how long you store these items, like I said in my last video, these will store for, I have bins full of these things that have been there for over 2 years, and I take them out and they work just as good as the day that I made them. But depending on where you're storing them and how long you store them, this Vaseline can tend to bleed through here a little bit and get the tube itself greasy. Not that that's a bad thing, but depending on where you're storing it and how, I store like 12 to 15 of these in a big gallon Ziploc, so they're not, you know, it's not going to get on anything. But what I like to do is I'll take a piece of scratch paper. Now this is just like filler paper that came in like an Amazon box or something, but I've used junk mail before, scratch paper, I mean just really anything. And I'll just lay this in here and roll it up. And then I twist the ends and I just poke it into the end. Twist. And I fold it into the end. The reason that that is good is, or this helps, number one, again, it helps the bleed through of if the Vaseline or the petroleum jelly gets warm and it starts to melt or bleed through the cardboard at all. But this is also great because you pull this little tab out and light it, and that's a great way to start this thing. Also, if you take them out, you know, like I said, I store 12 to 15 of these probably in a gallon Ziploc bag. But when we go camping or when we're going somewhere to actually use them, obviously I grab, you know, maybe 1 or 2, put in a go bag or a camping bag or somewhere else. So once it's out of that large Ziploc that I store it in, I don't want this, if there's Vaseline that bled through onto the toilet paper roll itself, I don't want that getting other items greasy. So this paper really helps like that. And again, it helps to have a convenient place to light the end of it as well. So that is about as simple as it gets. And this will burn literally by itself, no other fuel source, 20-25 minutes consistently, reliably, and this literally cost pennies to make. I think the cotton balls were for like 400 of them was like $3, and I'm only using 10 to 12 at a time. The toilet paper roll obviously free, the paper obviously free, and you saw how quick it was. Literally, you know, if I wasn't talking you through this, I could make one in probably 30 seconds. So there you have it. Homemade fire starter. Quick, simple. Even the kids help make these. I mean, it's not rocket science, right? Very simple process. Very, very inexpensive to make and very long lasting. Both in the shelf life, like I said, I keep these stored. I've had some stored for years that I tap into when we go camping or something or need to start a fire. And they're just as good as the day I made them. And the actual burn rate, how long they last burning. No other fuel source. These just by itself. Light this, leave it alone. Again, watch the other video for that. 20-25 minutes easy, and that enables you to find additional fuel sources. If you're out camping or something like that, you can you don't have to worry about finding enough tinder or whatever the case might be to start the fire. This, you start it, this will burn, and you can just keep adding more, and you're good to go. All right. Thank you for watching. Again, please like, subscribe, comment, leave me some suggestions, questions, anything you have. And see you next time. Get after it. It's a good thing to have that. Your timber, whatever or your timber and your other dried goods.